All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is Paulus with Inner Alchemy Living. You've probably seen some pictures of me on Instagram doing the ice bath. He's the guy that actually taught me how to do the breath work, how to think and concentrate and breathe with my parasympathetic nervous system, and it's really helped. So yesterday, I actually went for 8 minutes, longer than I thought.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic today. Yeah,
Good,
thank you
good.
for asking.
Dude, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So, why do you think doing ice baths are good for you? Or why do you know? I mean, there's scientific evidence too now.
Ice baths. Well, there's it's interesting that ice has been going. It's been recorded in Egypt, in Greece, and even in Roman times. And but it wasn't until like the 1700s that they actually started using ice therapy for for illnesses and whatnot. But it's been around forever. It does more than anything. It helps with inflammation. That's
inflammation.
Yeah, absolutely. You do this for like 10 days straight on an ice bath or a cold shower. You're gonna see results. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've definitely seen the results. So on Friday, I don't really run. I swim a lot. So maybe like 6 months I haven't ran, and I ran and I had back pain, and my muscles were tense. And then when I did it on Sunday, dude, it was just gone.
Yeah.
And all we did was 5 minutes on Sunday, so it really, really does help.
Yeah, I mean, all the professional athletes, football, basketball, doesn't matter. They're all like after a game, they're all in an ice bath. I mean, people know like what this does.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I think it's awesome that you're bringing it to the Salt Lake community. I think everyone should try it. Once again, it's called Inner Alchemy Living.
That's right.
But it's not. That's just a small aspect of it. You also do the breathing.
Yeah.
Which I really like. Tell us a little more about that.
Really, the breath work is where it's at. The ice bath is a complement to the breath, but it's the breathing. We forget to breathe, and we forget all about breathing. It's the first thing we do when we come out of the womb. It's the last thing we do when we die. We inhale in the womb, and then when we die, it's our last thing.
Yep.
And then we go.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Your heart can still beat, but without oxygen, your brain's brain dead.
That's right.
Why do you think breathing is so important? Actually, other people have told me it's the first thing that you do when you come into this world.
Yeah. Well, breath it's life. Breath is life. But what it does, especially if you breathe through the nose, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's really what we want. It calms us down. That's what keeps us kind of in this plane. So
okay, so people that don't know what the difference is between parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system, can you explain that a little more?
Yeah, it's our nervous system, and so our sympathetic nervous system is your fight, flight, or freeze response. If you're getting chased by a tiger, you're in the sympathetic nervous system. And right now in our society, most of us are in some sort of our sympathetic nervous system most of the time.
Fight or flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're driving, you're pissed, or you have to do something. Yeah.
So that's the thing. And then parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest. This is what you do. This is calm. It's meditation. This is what your body naturally does so its digestion is after a meal, after you're calm, digest, and you're just sitting there. You're able to think clearly. You're able to make good decisions when you're there. You don't react. You observe. So
okay. Does it have to do with your brain waves too?
Yeah. So when we do the breath work, we're literally we're pumping full of oxygen in our whole body down to the cellular level, and then we
what do you call that when your hand? So what happened is the other day I was doing so much hard breathing that there was so much oxygen in my body that my fingers went numb and it started clenching at each other. What do you call that again?
Lobster claw, but
lobster claw.
Tetany. It's called tetany. It's when you have a lot of CO2 in the body, and you cramp up and whatnot, and so you breathe, you pump yourself full of literally energy with oxygen, but then we hold the breath, and we have a couple breath retentions per round, and when you do that, you create CO2, and it's a CO2. It's like a switch, and that's what kind of activates your parasympathetic nervous system.
So calm down more when you breathe like that. Okay, that makes sense. what do you call that level that your brainwaves go into? When
Oh
you're
yeah.
not, yeah.
Sorry.
No, no,
I
no, no,
switched.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. But you
So
said it right.
so basically, you have 5 brain waves, and your brain's a big CPU, and we have gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Most people have heard of delta sleep, um, but most of us, when we wake up in our waking hours, we're in beta, and this is where we react. And a lot of us are in sympathetic nervous system. It's activated there. Um, and then, but when we actually do the breath work, we hold the breath, CO2, and all that kind of stuff. It actually switches over to alpha and theta, and that's light meditation. Theta is like hypnosis.
Is it like deep meditation in a
Deep.
sense?
So
Deep.
alpha is light meditation, and then theta is deep meditation. This is where you can have enlightened like experiences. This is where you can see visions.
Ooh.
You might feel like you're floating, tingling sensations. This is where you're connected with source, and that's why it's such a great place to be in there, because you can be in a state where you get guidance in what you need to do in your life.
Awesome. So that's theta. What about gamma?
So gamma is on the top, and gamma is for high processing, problem solving. It's a great place to be. It's just we're not there all the time. It takes so much physical energy to be in these frequencies up here. If you've ever been like in a flow state, you've ever focused so hard that your brain hurts.
Like learning, like deep learning when you have to cram for a test?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's gamma. That's why your metabolism sparks up, and you get super hungry after, because literally it takes physical energy to be in these frequencies, and we're not there all the time. But that's a good place to be too. But
I was gonna ask you, speaking of hungry, so after I do the ice baths, dude, I get super hungry, and I only like once a day, but I've been like snacking afterwards, just eating big meals. What does that come from?
So when you get into an ice bath, your metabolism just starts going on overdrive, because it's like, okay, I've got to create heat. So just and usually it's most of it's in your stomach. So it's where all your heat and energy are stored. And so basically you get in the ice bath, and literally your body's like, oh my God, I got to start cooking. And that's why you come out of there and you're ready, you're pumped up, you got neurotransmitters like flowing through. And you come out of there feeling like $1 million and like you can conquer the world. Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
100 million.
Yeah.
I have felt so good. Like, you don't understand just the fact that I was able to conquer that aspect of my life. But I always told people, like, I would post it on my Instagram too. It's like breaking that mental barrier. Now I can do this.
Right.
How far can I go? And how do you think that plays to people that have like depression, or they have addictions, and maybe they just need something?
Yeah. So the breath work, when you do this breath work and you go to alpha theta, actually it actually cancels out your cortisol, and that's your stress hormone. And so when you start meditating, you can't get stressed. It's also the parts of your brain, your basal ganglia, which is your addiction center, that goes dormant as well. And also, it's part of the part of your brain that's responsible for the ego and focused on the past, and that goes away, and then you're in the present moment. And so that's the magic of breath and meditation. The breath work is just priming up the body for your mind. And then when you're there, you're able to like think clearly, because you're not having doubt, you're not having fear, you're not thinking about what somebody's thinking about you. You're not thinking about your addictions, your vices, all that kind of thing. You're just there. And so for me, I use breath to overcome all my addictions and help heal my trauma as well. So,
Dude, that's interesting, because you said the separation of ego. On the way here, I was listening to different like audio thing on YouTube. It was about some famous guru, and about like your ego and consciousness, how you should separate it. They should be separate, and you just talked about that right now. Because when I'm in the ice bath, I'm not thinking about how much money I have, my bills, or none of that stuff, dude. If you're doing that, you're gonna freeze your ass off. You should just be like in the very moment and embrace it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's why we do the breath work first. So you understand what it feels like to be in a meditative state where you're in alpha and theta. And so when you go into the ice bath, it literally takes no time. It takes about 30 seconds. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but you go from a state of fear, your sympathetic nervous system goes in high gear and you're freaking out. And by just being calm and observing your body and understanding how your body works and reacts, you can counter that. And this is what science has been saying we can't do. We don't have control over our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, but we do. And that's what's so cool about going to ice bath. You're able to like literally um, change your whole like nervous system, and it's all up here. Like if you can do this, if you can just think about this and understand what this can do, you can be in an ice bath for as long as you want.
100% it's in your
Yeah.
head, right? Like
Yep.
the first time I did it for 5, and then yesterday I actually went for 8 minutes. But
Yeah.
I was in the go. What were you gonna
No,
say?
I was gonna say, yeah. He's just like, can I go to 7? Then everybody else was like, well, I want to do it too. So way to go, man. I
Yeah,
love it.
I just want to like just constantly like just push myself just a little bit, even if it's 10 seconds. But I actually went for 8 minutes because
Yeah.
I didn't know. He's like, okay, now you should get out. I was like, but I was in the zone at that time.
Yeah,
dude.
he was. Everybody else got out and he didn't even hear it, because that's the thing. When you're in like a theta state, like time goes away. You're so focused that a lot of times you don't hear what else is going around. You're just so into like the moment. So yeah, that was really cool.
Okay, so I have a lot of friends in like Los Angeles. So we're in Salt Lake City. It's really cold here,
Yeah.
especially with the water. I've been taking ice showers, like even more, cranking it to the max, and I've been doing the breathing, and it really helps me get into the moment.
Yeah.
So is the whole point to just like be able to do that anywhere? It doesn't have to be in an ice bath. Just get yourself in that state anywhere.
Yeah, it's breath. Like I said, the ice bath is kind of helps connect and like everything flowing, but learning how to breathe, learning what that feels like to be in alpha theta, to be in a meditative state. Since we forget that it's just a thought, and the more and more you practice breath work, the faster you can get into a state of meditation, a place where you want to be. Like it's free. Anybody can do this.
Yeah.
Literally, you don't have to go 4 rounds. It doesn't have to take 20 minutes. You can do this in 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever. The more you do it, the more you understand that it's just a thought. You get to decide. And when you embody that feeling, you can switch from beta to alpha or theta just like that if you want.
That's awesome. But I highly recommend people take your orientation class because
Yeah.
I've been telling everyone that really helped me.
Yeah.
So when they take this orientation class, it's just like what the hell to do when you're in there. So what happens is like your body just freaks out because it's freaking cold. It's really cold.
Yeah, you go into shock.
Yeah, you go into shock for like the first 30 minutes to 30 seconds to 60 seconds. And then after that, he'll just like, just breathe, man. Just concentrate on your breathing, shallow breathing, low through your nose, out through your mouth, or through your nose, out through your nose. And you're just going to calm down. And you know what? After about 2 minutes, I wasn't cold.
Yeah.
And I pictured the white light.
Yeah.
I know that could be, what is that, dude? Tell me a little more about that, because I've heard a lot of people talk about picture the white light from up there, just going inside you from your top of your head.
It's just another hack to kind of to switch you from your nervous system. But you just I envision a white light going down and just like literally, reversing my heartbeat and pumping the blood flow back. And I literally tell myself, hey, look, I know this is going on in my body. I don't want to be in pain. By saying these things and understanding what the body's going through, you're literally overriding that.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool process to see people going completely crazy, like, oh my God, I'm going to die. In about 30, 40 seconds, they're in a meditative state like they were, 20 minutes before when they were doing the breath work. And there you are. You're just focusing on being present with being uncomfortable. That's the point of the ice bath, is doing something that's terrifying for a lot of people. Being uncomfortable is something that we try to avoid at all costs, and it's part of life. And so the more you can put yourself in an uncomfortable position in life, the better you will be, the more growth you'll have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly challenging yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And after a while, that constant challenge becomes just less painful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's all right here.
Yeah,
When you do, the more and more you do it, the more you can handle anything in life that comes to you, because it's part of life. We try to cheat it, and it's part of it.
What do you mean cheating? Like drugs, Red Bull, or?
Well, I'm just saying we try to cheat. Like we try so hard to not be uncomfortable, to not deal with pain.
Yeah.
And that's life. Like, this is called Earth. There's shit's gonna happen. So how are you gonna deal with it?
Yeah.
And the more and more you can put yourself in uncomfortable positions, the more you grow, and the more when something does happen, you're able to take control and go into a place, meditative space, and really think about how you want to react in the situation.
Yeah. And as John Lennon said, with medicine, you're just uncomfortably numb, or comfortably numb, because you're numb to it. But don't Get uncomfortable, ladies and gentlemen. Jump in there.
That's right.
I honestly, my goal is in the summer, probably the end of summer, I'm gonna bring my mom. She hates the cold more than anyone I know.
That's why she has to do it.
100%, dude. I mean, me
Yeah.
being here, her son helps. I mean, she watches this, so Mom, I'm gonna bring you here. Just do it, even if it's for 1 minute, 2 minutes.
You know what? My mother came about 5 months ago, and we did it together.
That's
in the
awesome.
same bath. So if you guys want to do that,
In the same bath?
in the same bath.
Isn't that a little bit of cheating? Because my energy, my heat will like bounce off of her for
Well-
the first time, like training wheels.
for her first time?
Yeah.
It's a special thing.
It's a special thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I'm her son, so yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Okay. Other thing, because breathing is really important. I've heard a lot of people. I mean, even I've went into that theta state just from breathing and having I've heard people have like full on psychedelic experiences, like they're dropping acid, ayahuasca. Dude, how does that happen?
You know what? I'm not 100% sure. People come and everybody's experience is different, but some people go really, really deep, and so, some people have visions. They see colors. They see,
I saw that actually yesterday. I went deep and I saw that.
Yeah, you did. That was really cool.
Yeah.
See. And but everybody's experience is different, and I'm not quite sure exactly. I've heard that DMT is released. I haven't really seen any research to really prove that or whatnot. But something happens. I mean, it's something's happening to the brain when you go into these states, and
and the cool thing is it's all natural. Dude, you're doing it just by breathing. That's it.
Breathing.
You don't need any substances.
It's free.
Yeah,
it's
free.
It's amazing. Yeah, exactly.
It is. But you have to breathe from the diaphragm.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between? Let's say someone's not watching this. What's the difference between breathing from the diaphragm and your lungs, and the benefits?
Well, so when we first come out of the womb, we start breathing like through the belly and through the nose, and the proper way to breathe is through the nose. With this breath work, I breathe through the mouth. It's the only one I teach with the through the mouth. But the mouth represents the sympathetic nervous system. The nose is a parasympathetic nervous system. The mouth is for eating. The nose is for breathing. But somehow along the way, when we get older, we're taught to breathe through the mouth. We get into sports and whatnot. A lot of our diet has to do with it. Different things, and we start breathing through the mouth, and we're constantly in a state of like tense and sympathetic. But we want to breathe through the mouth for this one, and what we want to breathe through to the belly instead of the chest. So instead of the chest like this, like we're used to, we breathe through the belly. So when we breathe, our belly goes out, and then we suck it up to the chest. Belly, and what that does is it literally pushes the diaphragm down and creates more space in the chest cavity, and it helps us with the breath retention as well. But that's all the energy is stored right here in the diaphragm. So that's why we want to breathe this way. We breathe through this way, and then boom, that's why we have this energy.
Yeah, like you just get this surge of energy for hours and hours. And you told me the first time, like, dude, use it for something.
Yeah.
Be productive. So I just went and swam for I had a great workout. Like sometimes I have shoulder pain. Nope.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah, you integrate the breath work and the ice bath, and you come out and you're charged. And that's what I really try to teach. Like, what's the ice going to teach you today? What have you been procrastinating on in your life that is uncomfortable? And you want to take that energy and move it and put it into your life. Like, what are you going to do tomorrow that you've been putting off? And you want to take that and just kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. But one thing that I've noticed is when I was in there multiple times now that I've done it, I don't think about like really other stuff. It's just me in the zone. It's not my ego. I'm not better than anyone. I don't care about my car, my clothes. It's just like I'm concentrating on my breathing. So, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. That's what you mean when you're saying be in the zone.
Yeah, that's it. Like, that is meditation. You're in the present moment, and all those parts of your brain are like, just imagine if you're not dealing with your ego, if you're not dealing with your vices, if you're not stressed out, if you don't have doubt, like think about what you could really accomplish and what you could really observe in those states. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah, you're not worrying about anything. You're just
cure cancer, dude.
There, yeah,
dude. Yeah. So me and him are really big fans of Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, big time.
I want to get into that, but first I want to ask you. So he traveled the world for about 5 years.
Yep.
And you see some crazy cool shit. Tell me about some cool stuff you've seen, dude. Like
Oh.
mind-bending stuff.
Mind-bending stuff. I don't know about.
Like people cure cancer.
Well, okay, yeah.
That's mind-bending, my friend.
Yeah, that is. Thank you. Yeah, we about 2016, we we had a bunch of, my wife and I had a bunch of issues and addiction issues and different things, and we quit our jobs and sold everything we had and bought a motorcycle and headed south of the border. And that journey lasted nearly 5 years and took us all around the world. And that's where I learned how this breath technique, and just saw so many so many interactions of kindness and synchronicities that just lined up. That, I mean, just yeah. But it was in Bali, Indonesia, where, I mean, if you haven't been to Bali, it is a magical. It's like a vortex, and it's just a healing island. The people there are amazing. Culture there is amazing, and they have healers like literally from all around the world. And that's where I saw for the first time like real freaking magic. Like,
and I'm in the healthcare industry, and I help people with medication and all this stuff. Dude, don't watch this. You work with me, Ricky, my manager. But yeah, man, that's sad that no one really talks about that in the mainstream.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. That I saw the same thing at the Joe Dispenza retreat. It was crazy, dude. And I still keep in contact with the guy. He has 6 months to live. Apparently, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
It's been a month. He's gradually doing better, which is good, very good. Compared to the state he was in, he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
But that was just the power of his mind, and he was able to do it.
Yeah, it's crazy what we've been taught and our belief systems and whatnot. And the older we get, we have to realize that a lot of those things aren't real, and they've just been their old programs. We got to get rid of them. And when you can finally get rid of those programs and understand like what we're fully capable of, things change. And
yeah, they do. You're able to break barriers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. One question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think when people say, "I want to see beyond the veil"? What do you think of that? What does that mean to you, dude? Because I know for me, it's more like we have this 3D world with a virtual headset on, and then there's a world beyond it, like spiritual, dimensional. I'm not sure what it is. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I don't really quite understand. I'm still trying to figure that kind of stuff out.
Me too.
Like what does that mean? I know that, I think we do have this amnesia that we don't remember like the spirit world, whatever that is. Like I know that there's an energy, call it God, call it whatever you want it. There's something out there that's greater than us.
The force.
I don't try to understand it because I just can't. It's like it's too big. All I know, it's there. It's helped guide me. I've seen it, and it's there, and it loves everybody, and it's working for us.
Yep.
It wants to help you, and that's one of the things when you get into a meditative state, you're able to. It's like this big like antenna. We're able to hear and be connected to that force, to the energy. But when we're in like this natural, not natural, but like when we're in these frequencies beta, we're not able, we're too distracted, we're too in the mood of like reacting to hear all of these messages and guides and whatnot. And but it's there, and we just need to tune in to those frequencies so we can tap into that.
Yeah, and you can definitely tap into that 100%. I've seen it.
Absolutely.
I've done it. What do you think of meditation?
It's my keystone habit. It's what I do. It's saved my life. It helps me observe myself and my surroundings, and it's my lifeline, like mentally and physically. I love it.
So it's safe to say you highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
To everyone. Okay. What about some people that let's just say they have ADHD? Like, dude, I'm super hyper, and I could meditate I've done 4.5 hours at most. But I couldn't do 5 minutes when I first started. Do you have any advice for those people?
Yeah, I was one of those persons. I've had a ADHD my entire life. I was on Ritalin for about 10 years growing up, and I was told I was always going to have this. And when I started this breath work, in a matter of doing this twice a day for about 6 months, I have like, I wouldn't say cure. I still have energy, which I love, but I'm not reacting all the time. I'm not just freaking out and doing those kind of things. It helps. Like I'm straight up. Like if you knew me 4 years ago, I'm a totally different person. Like I'm calm and like, yeah.
More centered?
Absolutely, yeah.
Would you say your mind's more clear?
100%. I got all that chatter, all that chatter that we have that we're dealing with constantly. It's gone. I've got it out of. It's amazing.
Yeah, I can see that, especially when you're in the ice bath, dude. You just have to face yourself. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna talk about Dispenza. Joe
Okay.
Dispenza.
Let's do it.
I love him, dude. He's that guy's amazing. For people who don't know, I mean, people that watch this podcast definitely know. I talk about him all the time. I've been to his retreat.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that some more. And I'm going to his more advanced retreat just because I read his books and it made a lot of sense to me. And I met a lot of interesting people there, dude. Doctors, physicists, half of them were yoga instructors. But I met a lot of people, dude. What is he so appealing to you?
You know, I started actually getting into Joe Dispenza like a year after I started doing breath, and I still didn't understand what was going on. And I started researching and doing a lot of I read his book, especially Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Just a fantastic book. But then he really kind of explains what is going on in the brains, like these frequencies and whatnot. And so he made it like after I read his books and his and research and all that stuff, I was like, oh my God, this is what's happening to me when I breathe. This is what's happening to my brain. This is why these things are happening. These parts of your brain shuts off and whatnot. And then it just made sense, and I was able to like explain it to people. Before I couldn't explain it, and now I can. He was a big part of that.
Yeah, big time, brother. Well, what he does is he takes the mystical and the woo woo and he breaks it down to legit science with
Right.
scientific evidence. And yeah, that's amazing. Like, for example, you talked about you have this antenna on your head. That is the pineal gland. And apparently there's a way of activating it where you can tap into, like you said, God, source, the force.
Whatever.
Yeah, things like that. But there's science behind it, dude. Yeah. And apparently when you're meditating, I don't know if you know, maybe even in ice bath, you could create this like energy field around you. He calls it the quantum field or a magnetic field. Do you know anything about that?
Um, I mean, I think a different name for it, but yeah, it's the same. And I mean, actually, you actually feel that when you get into the ice bath, and that's what's really cool. Is we do have this energy field around us, and it like helps trap in the heat.
Yeah.
And that's what's really cool because you go in for the first 30 seconds, it's like completely just freezing cold. You're in shock, and after you get past that little hump, and now it's just uncomfortable, you start realizing that it's just the water hasn't changed, but something else changed. And if you're very still and then you move,
That's exactly what happened to me. I was going to say that.
go ahead.
So what happened is I was in there yesterday. I was deep in there for about 3 minutes. And you told me first to put my hands on my heart, but I had them crossed. I don't know. Just you jump in, you get uncomfortable, you're shaking. I had them
Right.
like that. And after 3 minutes, I was just thinking about myself breathing. And I thought about my heart. And I was like, huh, my hands aren't on my heart. So I moved my hands and my hands started getting really cold for like 10 seconds. And then that's when I said, you told me to say, I am safe because you are safe in there. And then boom, it just went away, dude. And I just went deeper.
Yeah.
But my hands were cold at that. I mean, nothing's changed. I was
Yep.
still in the water. My hands were right there on my chest. They just moved to my heart. But I just broke it a little bit, at least a piece of it.
Yeah, you break that force field. It's kind of
Yeah.
how I talk about it. You break that force field, and all of a sudden that cold water rushes back in, and all you got to do is just wait about 10 seconds, and then it kind of builds back up. And then, this is why like Wim Hof and these other guys can be in like an ice for like 2.5 hours or whatnot.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's because they're not moving. They're just sitting there like meditating on their bodies, and instead of their core temperature going down, they're actually raising it. It's like it's so amazing. Like we can all do this. It just takes practice.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you just did a really good job at the orientation, brother. Because I've never
Thank
done
you.
anything like this. Yeah, I've been telling them. And I jumped in, dude. It's like, the thing was, don't overthink it. Don't try to overanalyze it. Don't think you're better than this, because you've probably done this with hundreds of thousands, probably thousands of people.
yeah.
Yeah, so you know what's happening. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna follow his instructions. I didn't even think anything of it. Just followed to a T. Went in, boom, did it.
Yeah, it's quite
it.
simple. It
It is
really
super
is.
simple.
It's like it's so simple. You just got to. I mean, you just got to believe that you can do it, and then just literally just follow the instructions because it's. I mean, pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty simple, brother. Yeah, I didn't think it was hard at all. You just get in there. I mean, I think it can get very hard if you don't follow instructions,
Yeah, well,
as
yeah.
I've seen, and you just really try to fight it with sheer will. But it's the difference between fighting it and just embracing it.
Right.
There's a big difference, brother.
Huge.
And I mean, the difference is probably pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be miserable trying to fight it, and then some people can do the whole 5 minutes. Most people can't do more than 10 seconds, but it's just of understanding. Like it's all knowledge. As soon as you understand what's going on with you, this energetic field that we have around us, it's really not that bad. And then the more and more you do it, you just keep building that confidence with it, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful. I love it.
Like the first time I was a little intimidated. The second time I got in, I don't know why the second time hurt though. It was the slushy path.
Yeah.
It was like snow and ice, and it was just all around me. So it was a little taller.
It was
than
a little.
average.
It was a
Yeah,
little tougher.
It was a little
for
tougher,
sure.
but I mean, I did it.
Yeah.
But the last time it wasn't that tough, brother. It was just cold water.
Yeah.
Just getting in there, I was like, I could do this. I'm safe.
Yeah.
Just followed your instructions.
Yeah, you killed it.
Yeah,
It was
thanks,
awesome.
man. What else, brother? So, do you think people try to apply the breathing for like stressful situations? Because, sorry to cut you off. Have you ever heard of box breathing?
Box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard like Navy SEALs do it. Like, you want to tell us a little more about that?
It's a wonder. It's just you breathe like in a box. You can go in like you can breathe in for 10 seconds, and then you can hold your breath for 10 seconds, and then you can let it go for 10 seconds, and then you just keep going back around and around. And you can do it for 4 seconds, whatever it is, but that really connects you and activates your parasympathetic nervous system. And like basically any kind of breath that you do through the nose is going to calm you down. Like if you have a panic attack, start breathing through the nose. It's like that's what they used to do back in the day before all the pills and medications and whatnot. But yeah, this literally breath calms you down. That's all we need to do is like when we're about to say something we shouldn't say, breathe. You're ready to like get upset or do whatever, react in a certain way, just breathe. Like that's all you have to do is breathe, and then you get put back in the center, and you're like, oh, should I react this way or this way? And
yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So that box breathing, I heard Navy SEALs when they get shot at and they're outnumbered and cornered. So that's when you panic and you lose. Or that's maybe in sales or like when you're driving your car, I guess same situation. But when you breathe, you're able to center yourself, like you said. Yeah. Okay. But your breathing is a little different.
Yeah.
Okay. It's more diaphragm. It's more to put more energy inside of you.
Mm-hmm. It's fast. It's breath work. I always kind of say it like that. It's not a passive, like anything through your nose is calm, and it's what it's for. A lot of times.
It's your breath work is definitely not calm. It's my mouth gets dry.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of like CO2, like you said, inside of me. But it's good, dude. It feels really good. Yeah. Especially afterwards when we let go, and it's like I sink, dude, to the ground. I mean, sink below the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really good. Okay, so people that can't make it, you have a breathing class too, right? Online.
Yeah. So we just actually put it up a couple weeks ago. You can take the orientation workshop online as well if you're not from the state or this area. I even train you to take a cold shower or an ice bath at home if that's something you wanted to do. But yeah, this is also have a Monday through Friday we have an online class at 7 a.m. to help you use the breath work to overcome different negative habits, help build better habits and overcome addictions and stuff like that. So.
And you also help people. You work with people like one-on-one for addictions, right?
That's right.
And anxieties and things like that.
Not so much anxieties, but mostly overcoming bad habits. It could be anything. It's it's not just. I mean, I guess bad habits and addiction, whatever it is.
We could say bettering yourself.
Yeah, bettering yourself. Anything that you're trying to, any vice that whatever it may be that you're trying to get rid of. I help teach people to use the breath and implement breath work with building new habits to achieve your goals and to become the best version of yourself.
Cool. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Let's do it.
Let's say I don't smoke, but let's say I smoke cigarettes. Okay. I've been smoking for 15 years. Did I want to give up? I can after a day or two. I get mad. I snap at my kids. I really want to quit. Can you please help me? What would you do?
Yeah, so we'd have a consultation and get a little more information on what you're trying to smoking. Getting as much information as I can, but then I teach you the breath and how to go into those meditative states so you can start observing what parts of your life that you need to change so you can make better habits to overcome your goal, which is to stop smoking.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Got it. Are you going to throw them in the ice bath too?
Well, yeah, if they're here, definitely.
Yeah.
I recommend, so the ice bath for me, it was like every time I had an urge, every time I was ready to like go down the rabbit hole again, I would take a cold shower and ice bath, and that's what that does is it puts you back into the present moment, and it makes you think, do I really want to go back? Do I really want to go ahead and do this again? So I was taking ice baths, cold showers like 2-3 times a day, sometimes even more. So yeah, that's what's so beautiful about the ice bath. It just complements the whole breath technique, especially to overcoming any vice that you have.
I didn't really think about it until we're talking right now on the podcast. But yeah, brother, it really does. It really does. It definitely makes you more centered. I'm gonna do more of it. I want to get my mom. I told you I'm trying to get my manager to do it. I'm actually gonna get him to do it.
Please
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Okay. On the last note, I always ask people this question. What do you think we, as people or just individuals, can do just to better ourselves? Let's say we're in a shitty situation, dude, in life, or you're depressed, you're sad. What would be some advice you could give them?
Well, of course, to breathe.
Nice.
Just breathe. No, I mean it's kind of it's funny, but it's where I'm at right now, it's a lot of the stuff it's about meditation. It's about tapping into ourselves, our God selves. Like we just don't, most of us don't know. I didn't know until I was around 40 years old, like what our minds could do, our bodies can do. And like a lot of these things are choices that we decide. We decide to be miserable. We decide to act a certain way. We decide our emotions are decided. They can be positive or negative. I was never taught that. And when I understood that, and I learned all this stuff through breath by being alone and being in the present and really understanding. When I understood that, everything changed. When you understand, take personal responsibility of your life and the way you treat people, the way you treat yourself. I think that's it's mastery when you get to that point.
Yeah, definitely is mastery. Two things. First, I want to say, when you're taught to be miserable, first, people that think they're sad, you think you have it bad because you can't afford to buy shoes until you meet someone who doesn't have feet. Then you're like, oh, okay.
Right.
And second of all, one thing about something I've been taught about is like men are supposed to be more macho. Like, remember I was telling you about this yesterday? Like, you like hugging people, and I don't have a problem with that anymore. But when I first started talking to like yogi people or like meditation people, they would hug me, and I would get a little freaked out. But they didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it later. I was like, wait, it's not them, it's me. They're just showing kind, generous affection towards me. So that's something I had to reprogram in myself. Yeah.
All these things we were taught, it's like we've got to go and unlearn them.
Unlearn them. Yeah. Sometimes it's not what you need to learn, what you need to unlearn.
Right.
Yeah. And just be kinder to each other, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. And where can we find you, brother?
InnerAlchemyLiving.com is our site. We're in Salt Lake City. Come out for some breath work and an ice bath. It'd be awesome to meet you guys.
And if you can't, you can check it out online.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have an online program. Either way, let's connect. I'd love it. I'm trying to spread this to the world. Not enough people know this. This is such an easy thing to do. Is just to breathe and get connected and be happy and create the life you want.
Yeah, but you're telling me you are doing that actually, because it's most of the people that come to you are word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like me.
Yep.
I just heard some girl talking about it in the sauna. And I was like, oh, I'll do it. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, we're in the sauna. We're in a hot place though. But like we're just talking about it, and she's like, you should try it. Like, it's crazy. I was like, okay, I'll try it. I mean, it's not crazy, but it's very liberating.
Yeah.
Which I like. Cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Yeah.